Welcome to RPG Book Club LongCast, where we play a little bit of an excruciatingly long video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
Oh, I should go second this time. I'm Maddie Grace Webbin.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
You're not Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
But Bernard said he was never coming back, so it couldn't possibly be Bernard.
It's Bernard again. Welcome, friend of the show, Bernard, back for yet again.
Back for a while, I guess.
Yeah, I fucking guess. Although Sam was, you weren't actually misspeaking, but this time around, as with actually most of our long casts, it's kind of one excruciatingly long video game, but it's also kind of four excruciatingly long video games.
Yes.
Depending on how you're counting.
Yeah. And thank you, Bernard, for being told that you'll be doing this on Friday and then playing an excruciatingly long bit of a video game in 3 days to be ready for today.
Excruciatingly long bit of an excruciating video game.
Yeah. But
I'm going to be dunking on this game a lot. I enjoyed it more than I'll let on.
Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say exact same. It's one of those games where it's like the opposite of Cabaret 1972. What I mean is almost every single thing about this game is bad, except it somehow has like a vibe to it and works and is fun, and I like it.
Yeah.
Whereas Cabaret 1972, you like every individual part, but
overall you're like, eh.
I like Cabaret 1972 more than you. Maddie and I had a movie night remotely.
It was good. You should watch Cabaret. Everyone should watch that movie. It's worth watching. But also, it's weird. It's less than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is, so I will have to have you guys tell me about it, but not today.
It's a musical because it was Bernard.
Of course it is.
It's a good musical.
It is a good musical.
But today we will be starting our playthrough of .hack GU Part 1 Rebirth, Part 1 Rebirth of the Story, all the way up until we receive the area words for ΔGreat Cursed In-Laws. It's probably the easiest way for, if you're playing along, to know where we're stopping. So if you haven't gotten that far yet. So when you receive the area words, ΔGreat Cursed In-Laws, do not go there. Just stop.
Do not go see your ΔGreat Cursed In-Laws.
Yes. But we were going to do about 3 dungeons more than that, but that kind of starts the next leg, and it's already 9 pages of notes. So
dungeon is a strong word.
Yeah, as I was telling the guys when we were getting ready to start playing it, that each dungeon in this game, quote unquote, is really a floor of Tartarus. So we kind of did 7 floors of Tartarus more than 7 actual dungeons.
Yeah.
But anywho, if you want to know how our week was, you can listen to our main episode, because this is evergreen content. We
ain't talking about that shit.
We already talked about coronavirus and Cabaret 1972, but those are timeless. Coronavirus is never going away.
Oh, God, don't say that. Actually, hold on, Sam. I think real quick we should explain real quick, in case anyone's not aware, like if someone is, I don't know, bootlegging this or something, and therefore they're not a Patreon subscriber. Wait, is this subscribers only?
No, it is not subscribers only.
It's not.
It is.
Anyway, point is, we should say thank you, not just to Bernard for joining us, but thank you to our donors, which is why we're doing this.
Oh, yeah. This is a reward, as it were.
Stretch goal.
Stretch goal. That's a better one. It is a
reward
stretch goal
for you, not so much a reward for us.
No. But yeah, it is a stretch goal from our Ko-Fi, where at first it was $200 we raised, and then we raised that in like 6 months. I'm like, that's perfect. So I set the next one for $200, and somebody dropped it down $200 in one go. And so I'm like, okay, well, the next one's $300 to give us more time, because the Ko-Fi unlocked these right as I was going on paternity leave from the podcast. So I'm like, we can't just rack up all of these, so I'll make it $300 for part 2 of .hack to give us some extra time, And then our good friend Carr dropped down $300, and his Ko-Fi donation note was "Get riggedy wrecked, son." So we have two whole parts of .hack to catch up on. So it'll be lots of fun. Thank you so much to Carr for being so generous. Like, I can't even imagine spending like $300 on myself, and he spent like some $500 on us to listen to us talk about .hack. So.
Yeah, and that, of course, and that obviously, paid for the games themselves, and is also, it's great. I mean, that's why we have the money, so that we could like afford to maybe buy a game that costs a little bit more money down the road. Like, I don't know, 4 copies of Panzer Dragoon Saga. That's a joke. That would be a lot more than $300.
We're going to play through Magic Knight Rebirth on the Saturn, and we're going to get legit copies for all of us. That's what we're going to do.
Nice.
It's like a $300 loose game or something like that.
I've changed my mind. This is now no longer RPG Book Club. This is Ronaldinho Soccer 64 Club.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my god, look it up later. It's just a fucking bootleg. It's like a bootleg soccer game made in I think it's Brazil. It's a Brazilian bootleg in 64 soccer game. It's kind of a meme now, but I'll still like it rules, and I actually do want it.
Nice. All right, we'll do that. Scratch.hack. Let's do that instead. But
Sam, you know the most about this. Tell us what the heck is a .hack.
So, .hack is a multimedia franchise that is kind of the most ambitious thing that's happened, where like it's basically like MCU levels of like ambition, but it was done by goddamn CyberConnect way back in like 2004. So it's like bizarre, but it's like,
I feel like there's 2 big differences for MCU. One, it's shockingly lower budget, and 2, it's so predates the MCU that it's a very, very innovative concept to be doing so early, and again, without the support of the biggest media corporation in the world.
So the main tent poles of the multimedia franchise are the 2 .hack series. First one was just called .hack. It has a retronym for IMOC, which is the abbreviation of each individual chapter. And then GU actually has a name for the second one. We will be playing GU, not IMOC, because IMOC hasn't been re-released on anything, and
they're expensive as fuck.
Is really expensive.
I always regret not buying them. I was so interested as a kid in buying them, and then didn't, and then
Same.
Yeah, just like with Xenosaga, like I at one point had most of it, but that was before they were super duper like rare, and so I had gotten rid of them to like buy a goddamn like Dr. Pepper or some bullshit.
Hey, Dr. Pepper is really good. Bernard, do you have any experience with this franchise prior?
Well, some part of me felt like maybe at some point I'd like bought the first one and played a little bit of it, but I, looked at a bit of footage from it and didn't recognize it at all, so I guess I didn't. No, I don't have any experience with this franchise other than thinking this is a super weird concept, and I'm into this theoretically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My experience of it is I haven't played any of the games except GU now, but when I was a kid, they had the anime that came out at the same time. Although in America, the anime came out a good year before the games. I forget how long, because time when you're a kid all blurs together weird, but it was a decent amount of time, right? So the anime was called .hack. The games they're trying to be all computery, so it's like .hack / sign. And I think it's a really good anime, actually. I really like it. It's very moody. It's very strange. The first half is like a fun adventure, and then the back half of the game is literally like the metaphysical state of this universe depends on the main character not being depressed. And that's very difficult. It's just a very weird concept. It's got amazing music by one Yuji Kajira, who, in a funny tie to what Sam was just saying, composed Xenosaga 2 and 3. She's a badass. She did not compose music for this game, but I feel like they're kind of imitating her style on purpose, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's the premise of this damn series?
So, this series was Sword Art before it was cool.
And better.
And way better. Like I'm sorry, Sword Art is goddamn boring.
SAO's garbage. It's trash.
Yeah. I know that Matt's going to unsub because he loves it, but he is a weeaboo for isekai specifically, so that's why he likes it. But yeah, so you are all playing a video game, and weird shit starts happening in the video game, and it blurs the lines between like real world and video game in a cool ass way. And my favorite thing about it is, as much as possible, the thing that they are emulating is sitting in front of a screen and playing a video game. So like everything that happens is like real in a way. Like the menu that pops up, like it's not just the menu that's in .hack.gu, it's the menu that's in the world, and it has its own like shit like that, and it's very like it commits to that bit in a really cool way, which I really like.
Yeah, so it is so the games are a game where you pretend to be a person playing an MMO, and then the animes are just animes about people in an MMO, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
One thing I've got to wonder about is, it is very committed to the bit of everything you're seeing is within the world of an MMO, but like you will have stuff like a character is running away and they trip and fall, and I'm like, did the player drop the controller? Like, did Sakurai make this game?
When we get into the dramatic anime cutscenes, they definitely break their rules in that sense, right? It's like, wait, this player showed up and did an amazing anime move with crazy camera angles, and they did like a face, and they did all this stuff. I'm like, but wait, how come it wasn't like a top view of them running up to the enemy and hitting X a bunch of times and then picking a special move and eating? They take liberties with presentation, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's like, for as much of the, like, reading a forum that there's also like, yeah, but this is what it felt like for the presentations. Like when you're playing WoW, you're pressing the one key on your keyboard, but it feels like you're throwing a kick-ass fireball and taking down a monster, and that's kind of what they're going for.
That's a little bit my running read as well. Anyway, we should jump into this damn thing.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Let's listen to some music. I don't know who did it. I didn't look up enough about the behind the scenes of this game, but we're going to listen to some music and then we'll get started. So right off the bat, there's a really cool video of Haseo creating his character, and it's just like such a vibe from that time period of media. Like the fake computers of the early thousands all looked like this, and I love the way it looks. But after that, you spawn in the city of Mak Anu, which is the town from the IMOX series, but it didn't look this cool because in this in .hack you're playing a game called The World, but in .hack.gu you're playing a game called The World Revision 2, and so it's kind of like the sequel to it, and there's a lot of throwbacks to it that are like in-universe throwbacks to the first game of The World that was played in the first one. So this is one of those where it's like, oh, this is 50 years later, so Makanu, instead of being like a trading city is now like the capital and shit like that. It's really cool.
Point of clarification. Original .hack and GU were all on PS2, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Although this game, even looking at the footage of the old game, has so much better graphics than the original series.
original .hack was like 2002, and so it was early PS2. GU was like 2006, so it was late PS2.
I remember it being a very, very big gap. Cool, yeah. But you can you can tell this is a PS2 game, like absolutely. Just thought I'd clarify in case I was wrong.
Yeah. So, when you spawn into the town, Haseo is like, wow, this place is so cool, because he's a noob. And two helpful PCs come up, and they're like, oh, hey, you must be a noob. Well, we're part of a guild that loves to help newbies, so let us show you around everything, and then we get our tutorial for the game. So they take us to the Courageous Engaging Daydream, where we have to gather 3 MacGuffins to open a door and get some sweet loot. But while we're asking, like, oh, well, why do we have to do this? The guy's like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's just lore. Like, no one plays MMOs for the lore. Who gives a shit? Just get the loot, man. And so you go to get the loot, but of course they're just griefers who lured us into the instance to gank us because they're mean. And so right before they finish Haseo off, they're like pwned by a dude with blue hair and anime glasses, and in like the coolest sort of way. After his name's Ovan, we figure out in just a second. He like knocks down the people that tried to kill us, and he reaches his hand to Haseo and is like, "Welcome to the world." And it's super duper cool.
Which is
his
a recurring, he owned. FYI, that's a recurring phrase in the series. That's in the anime. It's kind of like the real Dark Souls starts here. It's kind of like that. It's like what characters get said usually it's when they just got owned. But it's like when Aaron says, "This is your story" to Tidus. That's kind of the weight that it carries in the franchise, from my understanding.
Yeah. So right after Ovan says "Welcome to the world," an entire anime happens. So .hack sign was the tie-in anime for the first .hack. This game, its tie-in anime is called .hack Roots, and it is about Haseo playing the 8 months prior to the between the prologue and chapter 1 of this game.
That makes so much sense.
Haseo befriends Ovan. They join a guild, but a couple players in the guild pass away and stop playing, and it's kind of sad. And then Ovan disappears, and Shino, the healer for the guild, is killed by a PK, a player killer known as Tri-Edge. And
good one.
And then Haseo wins a tournament, which gives him a character boost. So then that's why he's level 130 here in a second, and he uses his power to grief the griefers and fuck their life up since they fucked up his. And because he thinks that Tri-Edge, as we find out in a second, is not a PK, but he thinks that he is. So he's trying to kill all the PKs so he can eventually find Tri-Edge and get revenge for Shino.
When Tri-Edge PK'd Shino went into a coma in real life.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm so glad you explained this, Sam, because I was definitely like, wait, it seemed like there was just a time skip where an entire plot arc happened that I missed.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
It turns out that's what happened. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's
but if you're like, oh, I should play the prologue, then go watch the anime and then come back, don't actually do that, because the anime has a big ass spoiler for the second game, apparently. So I don't know what that spoiler is, but when I was reading up about it, everyone was like, it sounds like it goes here, but don't watch it here. Watch it at the end of the second game.
Yeah, because I mean, they explain what happens. It's not like they actually don't explain it. It's just weird. It's just weird pacing structurally.
Yeah. I mean, literally, all you need to know is Shino got dead and Ovan disappeared.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah,
basically.
and that he went from level 1 to being super powerful, and it's like he went through a whole character journey of becoming a badass, which is funny considering what's about to happen, but whatever.
Yeah. So 8 months later, we're following
8 months later is what it
8 months
says.
later.
Wait, is that really what it said? That's great.
It says 8 months later, and then the subtitles say 8 months later.
Nice.
Love it. You love to see it. So 8 months later, we follow Haseo's Haseo hunting down some player killers, and everyone has heard of him as the legendary PKK because he's a player killer. And there's a really cool fight where he avenges the fuck out of a player, and he asks the PKs, "Do you know anything about Tri-Edge?" before the scene is over, and the girl is like, "Herobrine don't reel," and laughs at him, and he then kills her for her insolence, and it's real fucking cool.
Was that a joke of some sort?
What, the Herobrine don't reel?
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
That's a antique Minecraft reference.
That's why
what the fuck is Minecraft?
Yeah, seriously. This is RPG Book Club.
But,
we only play games that are Japanese. That's not even true. That's not even a rule.
So Herobrine is, so Minecraft hasn't always had multiplayer. Multiplayer was actually a fairly late addition into Minecraft. So playing Minecraft where there was never a chance that you would see another human being ever, people kept saying, "I saw somebody in my game with me," and all of those rumors became Herobrine. So
of course they did.
But Herobrine don't reel. So
I get it. That's actually kind of cute, and I like it. Thank you for explaining.
Yeah. Now, everybody go back in time and play Alpha Minecraft the last time it was good. Just kidding.
No, that's not a joke.
So one prologue and a cutscene later, we finally get to the title card of this game, but we're not even done with this intro yet. Like, you hit start game and you do your tutorial and you're like, okay, cool. And then you sit down for like an hour and a half to watch some cutscenes. It is some Metal Gear Solid level of long ass cutscene here at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Metal Gear Solid series, and I say this as that this game has some fucking cutscenes in it.
It
to be
really
fair,
does.
they are not as good as Metal Gear Solid's cutscenes.
I was about to say, at least
even
Metal
at
Gear
all.
Solid's cutscenes were directed by someone who's watched a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, these do. They eventually approach like a Twin Peaks: The Return-esque rhythm, where you're just chill with it being the way it is. I'm saying that they take forever because every character delivers their lines so fucking slow and with weird pauses that we'll talk about later.
Yes, absolutely.
You're just watching it like an hour of Dougie, basically. Bernard knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we see Haseo walking through Makanu, which is super duper beautiful. I really love the architecture in that town. But then we run into some player characters from Moontree that know of Haseo's Moontree is a guild. They know of Haseo's reputation and mentioned how he's killed like over 100 player killers. And then there's if you kill killers, then you're nothing but a killer. And about 75 years of Batman comic fans debate the same point. And
I'm just gonna say there's not a debate there. Anyway, go on.
It's dumb, but whatever.
It's yes, but so they mentioned that they're from the guild Moontree, and Haseo's like, I don't need guilds, I have enough friends. So he walks away, but this girl Atali runs up, and she has the same character model as Shino from his guild during the anime. And he's like, what the fuck, Shino? And she's like, this is just like the base healer character. You're gonna see a bunch of people that look just like me. Like, this is an online game. It's not a real person.
And dear listeners, rest assured, Haseo never comprehends this.
Never at all. He brings it up all the time. It's like, wow, she looks just like her, but she's definitely not her. All the goddamn time. So the other guy that she's with, his name is Sakaki. They come up quite often. I giggle every time I say his name because I'm a child. But so Haseo gets a text from Ovan, and Ovan's like, follow me to a hidden forbidden waterfall to the cathedral there known as Colane. I don't fucking know. And none of the words, the lore of the world, A, is really fucking cool. B, comes from like North mythology, and Old Norse is not pronounceable. So I can't pronounce a single goddamn proper name in this whole game.
It's Barclay 2, The Legend of Cuchulainn.
Yes.
R.I.P.
But so when you get there, I don't remember who talks about it. Maybe Ovan, maybe Haseo just talks about it. I don't remember. But they're like, yeah, this is a really important place in the lore, but it's old content, so no one actually does anything here. We just kind of hang out. It's just like a meeting place in the game. And what's this? That should be in memorable moments. I'm going to skip that paragraph. But yeah, so we meet up with Ovan, who then tells players basically the plot of the anime. Like, it gets you caught up if you haven't seen the anime yet, which I actually liked how well written it was. Like, it didn't sound like, here's all this exposition of the anime that you didn't watch. It kind of like flowed and was good, and I liked it. But blah 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 blah. So Haseo is starting to demand answers about how he just up and disappeared when Shino died, and Ovan cuts him off and is like, well, do you want to know about Tri-Edge or don't you? Tri-Edge is not a normal PK. He's something weird. If Tri-Edge is killed, maybe Shino will come out of a coma. And Ovan has it on good authority that Tri-Edge is going to be back at the scene of the crime today, which is on hidden, forbidden, holy ground. I should say the MMO of the world is procedurally generated, and the way that it procedurally generates is based off of area words. So you pick three keywords, mash them all together, and that then is the seed to which your dungeon will be procedurally generated.
Yeah.
And so hidden, forbidden, holy ground is one specific area word, and it's the place where Shino was offed before.
So they kind of diegetically make it make sense that everything is just gibberish nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's just 3 random words, duh.
Yeah. And it's great. You get some great little phrases that pop up. Like my Discord name is what even, I can't even remember it.
Blurry obsessive slacker.
That's it. That's one that we'll get to next week. But yeah, it's great. And hot nonsense. So Ovan says that he'll meet Haseo at Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground because they're the only ones strong enough to kill Tri-Edge. So Haseo runs off, and when he's there, he gets a flashback to being there with Shino, and they're talking about the World Revision 1 and how things are different in the 2 locations. But then some blue fire comes out of nowhere and knocks Haseo to the ground, and from the fire emerges Kite, the hero of the first game. Tri-Edge has the same character model as the hero of the first game,
also the hero of .hack sign. Kite's not the same character, but they have the same character model. They're pal swaps of each other, basically.
Yeah. The one annoying thing about .hack is people didn't like the way that Haseo looked, and because he's the only main character that doesn't have the Kite skin. So Kite from the games, Kite from Legend of the Twilight, and Kite from .hack's sign are all different people, but whatever. It gets real confusing.
Yeah,
real
and they're not
quick.
called Kite. Sam's just being convenient.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, he's called Sukasa in the anime, which is funny because that also sounds like it's Spanish and not Japanese.
Yes. Mikasa as Tsukasa.
Yeah.
But the little bit I know of the first wave of media, so Legend of the Twilight, IMOC, and .hack Sign, is that Legend of the Twilight is the first kite, and then the person you play in IMOC wins like a contest to be able to play as Kite from Legend of the Twilight.
Oh, neat.
Like
neat.
wins a thing like that. But no idea how it ties into
Yeah.
Tsukasa. I haven't actually seen Sign.
So anyway, we're flipping out because the main character from the previous game is bad now. What? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool. So we see a flashback of Shino dying as wait, we were already in a flashback.
No, we're not. We're
the fire knocked Haseo in the present to the ground, and we go back to the flashback to see Shino dying, and we see Tri-Edge use his daggers that have 3 blades on them each to carve into the level geometry, which is not a thing that should be possible, but he carves 3 red slashes into it. And thus, that's why he's called Tri-Edge, because he has a 3-bladed weapon that leaves 3 slashes.
Shouldn't he be 6-edge since he has 3 of them?
That's what I was thinking.
So Haseo goes. So Haseo goes on the all-out offensive against Hex-Edge, and Hex-Edge just Goku blocks him with one hand, and then Tri-Edge does something that if you've played the first game would be super familiar, because in the first game, Kite gets his power from some like magic lady bullshit where he can do a data drain, where he can, whatever monster you're fighting, you get him weak enough, then you can data drain him down to level 1 and finish him off like it's nothing. So this Kite does data drain the same exact pose from the first game to Haseo, which then takes him down to level 1, as we find out here in a second, which is really fucking cool. So Haseo like turns into static and collapses to the ground, and he sees Ovan entering the cathedral, and then it fades to white. So Haseo gets booted to his desktop, and his computer had crashed, and then it also reformatted his computer and reset everything, and he's calm about it, and he's like, what the heck? What happened to all of my emails and everything I had downloaded? If my computer just fucking formatted itself when like my video game crashed, I would be throwing my computer across the fucking room.
Also getting very mad at the people who make the game, because that is a huge security vulnerability in their game.
Gigantic. And he's just like, what the fuck? Let me log back in.
I would definitely be calling CyberConnect help desk, which
Absolutely.
the company that makes these games in real life is called CyberConnect 2. The company that makes the world in the game is called CyberConnect.
Yes.
Yeah,
they're a sequel to their fake company.
Also, yeah, okay, one recurring thing in this game is that if even 1% of the things that have happened in the history of the world happened in a game in real life, nobody would play the game anymore.
Yeah, not even close.
And also they'd like go to jail. It's like, oh yeah, there was a glitch in this game that made people like fall into comas and have to be hospitalized for years. Oh yeah, this game caused a fucking giant fire that burned down the entire company. Yeah, they lost everyone's old data. Yeah, also apparently there's just glitches where the people who made the game are like, we have no idea what this is.
But yeah,
I mean, to be fair, if like 6 people who play World of Warcraft mysteriously went into a coma, and I don't think people would like put together the thing they have in common is that they play World of Warcraft.
That's true.
Because
Also, I guess
a lot of people play World of Warcraft.
Also, I guess I shouldn't be judging fictional characters, saying it's unrealistic that fictional characters would stop doing something en masse because doing it is resulting people to die constantly on account of current events.
Yes.
So never mind. It's realistic.
Yeah, I didn't want to do like current events, so these would be evergreen, but fuck it. So I accidentally dropped Scarlet's Nightlight today, so I had to, like, right before bedtime, I had to run over to Dollar Tree to buy her a new one, and there were people like tabling for some cause, just like hanging out in front of the Dollar Tree, didn't have a mask on, just like willingly trying to fucking talk to people.
Fucking
today.
Austin Redguard.
Like, I fucking hate it. But anyhow,
actually, Sam, you said you want to keep this evergreen. I mean, what's not evergreen about coronavirus?
True.
God.
So when you're booted back to your desktop, you then have the option to read a bunch of stuff and clear out your notifications or jump back into the game. And whichever of those you decide to do decides if you played for 12 hours this week or 3 hours this week. There is so much fucking lore and shit to read right here, and I love it.
I don't think we need I don't think we need to go into all the lore, but I think we should tell people what the kinds of lore there are, just to paint a picture.
I was like, oh, I'll check this out a bit. I'm sure there's just a little bit of stuff, but I read this article about how the entire government was moved online and shit.
Which I'm sure is fine.
Yeah, 10 years in the past, in the backstory of this game, I believe this is the story of IMOC, the entire internet broke and everything was terrible, and the economy collapsed and shit, but now we're moving the entire government online, so hopefully that won't happen again. I was like, oh, here's this little video about doll syndrome. Let's see what that is. It was 4 minutes and 20 seconds long. Nice. But it's a whole ass anime video about doll syndrome, which is apparently kids, elementary school kids who are playing online games are becoming lifeless dolls.
Also, the guy who does that anime, I love that guy. What's that character's name?
Salvador Ihara.
Yes.
What's his nickname?
Don't remember.
Well, because the anime is it's like something Jack. Anyway, he's great. I like him. He's terrible and sucks.
Yeah, he's
amazing. A terrible reporter.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of lore about the world. That sentence is loaded. There's a lot of lore about the backstory to the scenario in which the character who plays the Haseo lives. But then, so you finish all of that and you're like, wow, I just read for about 4 hours, and then you click onto the world, and then there's more that's background for the world, the video game, that goes for 4 more hours of reading.
That was the precise
there.
Moment when I fucked it up. When I said fuck it, because here's the thing: you're on the menu of your computer, and the options are play the MMO, check your email, check the forums, check the news sites. I checked the news sites. I looked at every single thing on the news sites and was frankly fascinated by most of it. I looked at the forums and was much enjoying it. And I was like, cool. I did the news. I did the forums. And the forums were mostly about playing the game, right? And then I'm like, cool, time to actually play the game. I mean, I figured each option is one thing, right? But once you click play the game, you go to the launcher for the game, and there's a button you can click to go to the game's official website. And then that's where there's a stupid amount more lore. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'll do this later. Fuck it. I'm done.
And there are 5, if I recall correctly, there are 5 forums that you access from your desktop, but also in the launcher, there's the official forum for the world. Oh my gosh.
Which I didn't even bother to click on. It still got the exclamation point for me. It's I really like it. It's cool. And it's so much more than is remotely necessary.
Oh yeah. It really is just committing to the bit of being a thing that exists, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Also,
I
it does
respect
kind of explain the plot of like the previous .hack series. Like, it doesn't say this is the plot of the previous games, but I know that I know from just osmosis and just from context clues that at least some of the stuff that I learned about the backstory of this game is actually the stuff that happened in the last game. All the stuff about the world 1.0. Sam,
I'm here. Are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because it sounded like you cut out, and I
finished talking.
Died. Okay, but yeah. So one thing that's cool about all the forums and stuff is there's a lot of like noobs that are lost, and it's like, oh hey, in case you didn't read the instruction manual, here's how you do a thing. But then also there's people like, oh, I procedurally generated this place the other day that has a crap load of items that you can use, and you can get to it and then it gives you the area word that you can then go and log into the game and go and farm those items yourself. So it's like real in a way that it, like as real as it can be, where you're talking to a pre-written set of things.
It honestly does feel very real, especially for me who's like a forum lurker most of the time. Like I'm interacting with this forum the same way I interact with the real forum, which is reading it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we'll save some of the because most of my bits about the lore that I, besides like stuff in my memorable moments, are things about the lore of the world, the game. So I'll save those till we talk about them, because it's really cool, and I didn't write enough to explain it to you, so I'll wait till you guys read it. But only a little bit of this lore unlocks, like only a little bit more of it unlocks as we go through. So this huge first chunk will probably bring up stuff from it as it like becomes relevant. And but like we are trying to read it all and get like a full picture of this game, because that's what LongCast, the spirit of LongCast, is all about. But we're probably not going to just stop for 7 hours and talk about it right now.
No.
But so after 7 hours of reading, you log back into the world, and you're level 1 now. All of your equipment, experience, items, everything is gone. You don't have even your friends list. Like, you've been all the way reformatted back to the first time you ever logged in. And you're super confused and freaking out about that. But some players around you are talking about how this... talking about a dude that basically looks like Ovan, and you're like, shit, I have to go and find him. He was the one that told me welcome to the world and just like got me into this mess. He probably knows what's going on. So you rush off to find him, and before you can catch up to him, however, you see the PKs that you slaughtered like just a few minutes ago before the tri-edge everything, and they're talking about like, you know what? We should go and kill Haseo. It'll be great. Like, he should be our next conquest. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go kill Haseo. Everybody in favor say aye. And you're like, well, fuck that. And you run the opposite direction. And you bump into both of Teddy's from Persona 4's voice actors. Gaspard plays Teddy in Persona 4, and Syllabus plays Teddy in all of the sequels of Persona 4. So you get double the Teddy in this game. And it's wonderful.
It's a lot.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Like, Gaspard's voice is like the thing he's doing is very similar to Teddy.
Yeah.
So I recognized that and was like, oh, hey, Teddy. I didn't realize that Syllabus was also Teddy.
Yeah, I didn't either, because I was going to write the joke. I'm like, oh, we run into Teddy and Spider-Man or whoever the fuck the other guy would be. So I was looking up what he did, and turns out that he also did Teddy, which I think is hilarious. But did you have something to say?
No. I have a comment on the interesting qualities of this game's voice acting, but I'll save it for later.
Yeah, I have a lot to talk about the interesting qualities of this game's voice acting. There's Captain Kirk got nothing on this game. But so we asked them if they had seen Ovan, but they don't understand us. All they see is that we have no experience, no achievements, no map unlock percentage, no anything. And they're like, oh, he's a noob that's just role-playing as Haseo. So let's take him on a tutorial dungeon again and they force you, the player, to sit through the tutorial again because it's been an hour since the last time you did the tutorial. You probably forgot.
I actually did forget. They were like,
too.
They were like, do you know how to use the like the whatever move? And Haseo was like, yes, I know how to use the whatever move, you idiot. And I'm like, wait, actually, I don't know how to use the whatever move.
I find it hilarious that Gaspard and Syllabus are like, oh, this poor noob, let's help out this noob. And then when they actually join your party, you see that they're level 3 and 4.
Right? By the end of the dungeon, because of level, XP curve scaling, like, you're only a level under them. Although it does remind me, like, I connected with this game a lot because the only MMO I've ever spent a significant amount of time in is Kingdom of Loathing. And in Kingdom of Loathing, there's a noob chat, and a lot of not noobs hang out in the noob chat to help out the noobs. And that was my favorite thing about that game, right? Mm-hmm. And you only have to be a few levels higher than, like, it's probably like they were probably noobs a few days ago and they just haven't left the noob chat because it's fun. Right. Mm-hmm. But I found that relatable. It was cute.
Yeah. Excuse me. So they say that they're members of the guild called Canard, which is a noob supporting guild. That's so cute. They want to help Haseo, who I'm not sure why, but he goes along with this retutorializing. They're just like, hey, instead of him like, I have to go find Ovan. I know how to play this game. You don't have to tutorialize me. They're like, oh, since you're a noob, just come with us to blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, okay.
I think he's like, I need levels anyway, and I need items. So
I read it as he's probably like, it'll be easier to level up with a party. Here's a party.
Yeah, because he does talk a lot about like, fuck, I gotta be not level 1 anymore. This sucks.
Mm-hmm.
He's like really annoyed.
Yeah. So then you go through what's basically a shot-for-shot remake of your first tutorial. Like, all of the things that you go through again. And then, of course, does teach you a little more things because the game is actually progressing. But I still think it's hilarious how, like, this is the beast statue. It's not important because of the lore, just like the last person.
The only difference is that before you were on a beach and this time you're in a cave. That's it.
Yeah. And so... just like last time, you're about to get the sweet loot at the end, but some PKs show up, and it's the ones. Their guild name is Kestrel. They're the ones that we're just talking about coming and killing Haseo, and they're like, we got an anonymous email that said that you were here, and we didn't even recognize you because you look so newbie and have no idea why you're level 1, but it'll be great because now we can kill you really easy. And Gaspard and Syllabus are finally like, oh shit, you mean you're not full of shit? We really thought that you were just some dude role-playing Haseo. And so Kestrel comes to try and kill us, but Haseo starts to like feel his anime powers tingling, and he like
gets
falls
an erection.
Yeah, he gets an erection. And
he gets an erection.
Yes. And but then we're interrupted by this hot chick with glasses and like only straps for clothes. So like just a JRPG chick. And she's like, oh, hey, Moontree may or may not be on their way here. And they're the anti-PK guilds. They're going to come and fuck you up. You should get out of here. So they're like, fuck it. And they leave. But then this girl, I don't know when we learn her name is Pi, but her name is Pi. She's like, yeah, I was just bluffing. I've never fucking called Moontree. And she and Haseo get into a fight, their first of many fights that we see this playthrough. And she says that Haseo has a new power that's growing inside of him called an erection. And then she storms off. And so then we explain to Gaspard and Syllabus that we got reformatted, and they're like, that's weird. You should like bug report it. And Haseo is like, yeah, but if I'm getting a huge power inside of me, I don't want the GMs to fix my broken character. I want whatever this cool shit is. And so Haseo decides to stay level 4 or whatever we are now and just try and roll with the punches. So we go back to town, and Canard, which is the my shorthand for Gaspard and Syllabus, they ask us if we're going to go talk to Moontree, and Haseo was like, man, Moontree fucking sucks. Every person I've ever met from Moontree is fucking ugly, and they're dumb, and I hate everything about them. And of course, right behind him is Atali, who goes off on Haseo about her morals, of how she's like, no, the world could be a happy place if we all just work together, and I just want to help people, and you're actually the asshole. And she's a giant fucking nerd. She like
Animal Crossing is out at this point, both in fiction and in the real world. Play that.
Here's the thing about this girl. Whenever I play MMOs, which again I have very little experience, I've dipped my toes into other ones as well. Like, I mean, who didn't play RuneScape? Am I right? But also other games.
Right.
But like, I don't do PvP. I don't enjoy PvP. If someone PvPs me because I'm journeying through a danger zone, I get annoyed. However, I do not at all disparage the concept of PvP. I think it rules and it's hilarious. So like when she's going off about how like, no, we shouldn't have player killers, I'm like, hey, fuck you, lady. Like I'm like taking the side of like the offended PKs, even though I would never be that person.
Yeah.
I'm just like, lady, it's a game.
They never
calm the fuck down.
They never like really explain what happens when your character is killed, because presumably it's more than a minor inconvenience, which is what it would be in a real MMO.
Actually, they do at one point, but I forgot what they said.
Most people, what was that?
They do at one point, actually. In one of these actual cutscenes that you did watch, it wasn't optional, a character does say something like, it's pretty small, basically. It's just like, actually, no, it might be one of the forums where they're debating about PKing, and someone is just like, you just lose a couple items max, and you have to do the area again. Like it's definitely more on the WoW side than on the like EverQuest side as far as penalties goes.
Mm-hmm. And there is a chance you'll go into a coma, but most people don't know that.
Yeah, but there's also a chance that you'll get an amazing new power inside you.
Yeah. So Atali vows to prove to us that the world is a magical place, and she gives us her member address so that we can invite her to a party later, so she can explain what Moontree is and what they're all about,
and so that she can continue to be our friend and spend her emotional energy on us, no matter how much we abuse her.
Yep.
Yeah, we just suck and we don't like her, and she's like, for some reason you're you of all the people in this game, I'm gonna follow you around like goddamn Misty, except you don't even have my bike.
Haseo's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I'm gonna comment on that later.
he gets way better, because the Let's Play that I was using as a refresher for my notes, a common thing was like, God, I hate Haseo in part one. I can't wait until he's not a dick anymore. So apparently he gets better, but not yet at all. Zero character growth this entire first section. And so Atali gets a message from Sakaki, so she logs out, and Haseo was like, wow, she really isn't Shino, even though she looks just like her. And it's dumb. Then we do a real pointless quest that fucking rules. And no, this one doesn't rule. This one's really pointless. The next pointless one rules. So it's a pointless quest that teaches us how to do in-game quests and how to get to teaches us about chim-chims, which are basically, they're like prinnies or surf bots, where they're like technically cute, but your reaction to them should not be to protect them. It should be to kick their ass. And that's a thing in this game. And you spend a whole dungeon figuring out about it.
You literally kick them.
Them.
I will say, mechanically, and as far as what you have to do all of the time, is dumb and annoying. It's like, yeah, it's just a dumb fetch quest. The actual mechanisms of how they move and how you get them is pretty fun. Actually, they kind of like bounce around all over the place, and you just kind of crash into them, and then they turn into shiny thingies. Like, it's a lot more than like walking up to a shiny thing and hitting X. Weirdly enjoyable physicality to them.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing this quest, and I will probably do a majority of the side quests where I go and get to kick these guys in the game. It's just like out of left field and not overall important. And watch here in like 15 of these episodes, we're like, and that's why Chim Chim saved the whole world. And they'll be completely important because we're talking shit about them right now.
It's gonna be like the 101 Dalmatians and fucking Kingdom Hearts. You have to get all of them, even though there's an infinite number of them.
Yes. But later we log out and get an email from Atali, who asked us to come with her to Submissive Tragedies 1000 Oaks. And while we're there, she doesn't like, we go to, it's like a super low level. Like when you go to log in to the area, it gives you a summary of like, oh, the monsters will be really easy, but the items you get will be really good or really shitty or whatever. And it's like, don't log in. This place has shitty monsters that aren't worth anything and no fucking items. Like, why would you even go to this place? And when she's there, she just wants to like look at the moon and look at the flowers and look at all of the
She's
shit.
Like, this is my favorite area. It's just like, you suck, lady. You're not cool at all.
She's a fucking nerd. I love her.
Go play Nobi Boy. You'll love it. It's great.
Yeah. So we make our way to the beast statue eventually, and we get the loot, whatever counts as loot in this low ass place. But as we're leaving, Atali hears a sound, and she's like, that's weird. I've never heard a sound like this in the game before. Let's go see what it is. So we run outside, and the beast temple has been marked by Tri-Edge with his triangle mark. And we're like, what the fuck? And then we get like, our characters get sucked towards it, and we get loaded into, quote, the dead world of Indiglut Lug, which, if you read the lore, is a place mentioned in the lore of the world, which is really cool. Like, it's not a place marked by area words. It's a place that's like from the lore, which is kind of cool. But in the lore, the Lord of the Dead was prevented from assaulting the world of the living when a white tree was planted to block its path. And the first thing you see when you get in there is a huge white tree, which is pretty cool and made me happy that I read a shitload of lore about it. But there's a dude hanging out under the tree who's like playing with a weird floaty orb of darkness, which I don't know what buttons you press on the controller to like lounge on a tree and play with a weird floaty orb of darkness. But Atali says that the sound that she was hearing is coming from this dude. So she runs to go and see who he is. But from behind us, someone shouts like, "Don't, it's dangerous." So the black goopy stuff turns into like a giant angry Madoka from all the Clamp series. And Atali faints, like her character faints. And also we find out her player faints, which is weird. But then this dude with a kick-ass ponytail named Kun runs in, and then he gets magic JRPG tattoos and summons a persona. And it's this really fucking cool looking fight scene. And after the fight, Atali wakes up and says that she fainted in real life and she doesn't remember what just happened, which is weird. And then the new guy, whose name is Kun, says that he's a game master for CC Corp, and he came to this area to fix a bug report. And we're like, what kind of fucking bug knocks somebody out in real life? This is not real. What the fuck is going on? And we demand to know what the weird persona thing was. And Kun is like, oh, if you can see it, that means you must be able to summon one. So you should come back to the CC Corp's at home, and maybe you'll learn something about Tri-Edge when you come. And Haseo, like a little I don't
bitch.
know what, like a little bitch. It's just like, oh my God, some info about Tri-Edge. I'm on it. I'll go and do whatever I hate doing just so I can find shit out about Tri-Edge.
I will set my PS3 to do folding at home when it's not being played.
So we make our way over to the at home
for you.
Love it. we make our way over to the at-home building where which is like the guild hall for everyone. It's like everyone has the same building, but you get to it and you select the guild hall you actually want to go to. And Kuhn gives us a guest key for a guild named Ravens at home. And when we go in, we run into Pi, the glasses and straps girl from earlier. Her and Haseo go at it again, and she mentions that we're a chosen one and that Master Yata wants to speak with us. Yata is super cool looking. He's like floating on a giant like throne made out of light in some fucking dark cave in the guild hall, which if I'm playing an MMO, that's what I want to do. I just want to sit.
He's really cool. He's the coolest looking character thus far, by far. He's also got a deep voice, kind of like what's his ass?
Ovan.
Oval, yes.
Yes. And he's like, there's been a development in the world that defies all system parameters, and it's been manifesting in weird phenomenons such as reformatting of character data and tri-edge and people going into fucking comas. And he refers to these phenomenon as ADA, which stands for artificially intelligent data anomalies. And Yada says that Raven, the guild, go after the ADA to keep it out of the average player's perception, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. And like people are going into comas now, so it's kind of a really big deal. So we need your help because you are an epitaph user, and there's a lot of goddamn fucking proper nouns in this fucking game.
There's so many.
Epitaph users use avatars. They're not called avatar users. They're called epitaph users.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe avatar is the thing, but epitaph is more of an abstract concept. Who knows? Epitaph of Twilight.
Maybe the epitaph is the JRPG tattoos and the avatar is the persona. I don't know. It doesn't goddamn make sense. But
who fucking cares? It's just the lore.
Yeah. It's just the lore. And so he says that they use the epitaphs to take care of the Ada. And he also says that Haseo's character was specifically created by CC Corp. And I don't understand the logistics of that at all. Like, we watched Haseo make his character. I can't even like think of like I worked for 4 years on an MMO. Like, I know how they work, and I have no idea how I would like coordinate the creation of somebody else's character to do anything special. It's fucking weird.
No, Sam. It's basically the Catholic concept of ensoulment, where when a baby is in a womb, okay, it's being born naturally, but at a certain point in the gestation process, it acquires a soul supernaturally. It's not a natural development. The Lord, the good Lord above, gives the creature a soul. Now, the fact that ensoulment happens at some point during pregnancy is, of course, why Catholics oppose abortion. And they got all this weird stuff about ensoulment. But it's an interesting concept. It's like, where does the soul come from? It's got to come from somewhere. Anyway, point is, Haseo was making a character, yes, but maybe CC Corp just kind of had to hit a button that was like, okay, this guy's the one. Like, you know, like there's like chosen one code, right, that they make, and it goes into a character that someone else is already making, right? So they imbue it with this the one power. And why did they pick Haseo? Well, maybe it was just random, right? As Haseo actually says in this scene, which is really funny, he's like, this better not just be some kind of weird event. Which I thought of that during the scene. I was like, wait, what if all of this is just like the latest, like, what's even the MMO word for that? Just like the latest, like you know, game event that's going to be the new fun thing.
Yeah, it's the new WoW holiday.
yeah, it's the new. Maybe it's like an ARG kind of thing. And it's just all part of the game.
Yeah. So,
there's eggs everywhere now.
Yes. God damn it. So, Haseo was like, well, if I'm a so-called epitaph user, how the fuck do I use an epitaph? And Yada is like, well, you must awaken, so I'm going to send you with Pi and Kun to go and awaken your epitaph. And so we go out to talk to them, and they're like, Raven is just a front for GU, which is our true secret club, because guilds are already secret. Why do you need a secret club inside of your secret club? It's just so there can be more fucking proper nouns to highlight yellow in the subtitles. And so they say that there isn't a specific way to awaken your epitaph. It just, like, being in battle gets you, like, primed for it. So we're just going to go to a high level area and get our asses kicked until we until it works. But before we go and do that, which is where we're actually going to start next week, but there's a bit that's not important whatsoever, but it happens before we get the area words. Is we get to run the guild shop for Kennard, and there's and mostly all we get is backstory that Kun used to be in Kennard, and then there's a whole bunch of great character moments for, like, Gaspard and Syllabus and Atali, and then we meet this girl who shows up again later, who shares a character with her older sister. So every time we see her, we're just like, oh, hey, wait, are you the person we like or the person we hate? Because y'all share a character. And it's some cute shit, but that's where we're going to stop it for the day, is because we get an email that says come to Great Cursed In-Laws, and we don't go and do that. But yeah, that's where we stop, including that little scene is kind of anticlimactic, but I wanted to touch on it because it was characterful and might have some memorable moments in it.
I didn't say any memorable moments from that part, but I actually really loved that scene. At first, I thought it was really annoying and boring, but as it developed further, ironically, the more it went on, and was I thought it was just a dumb side quest they were making me do to pad out the fucking game. But once it became an actual fucking scene with all this shit happening, I was like, oh, this is just like, you know how sometimes like, we always talk about how a game is like, the games can be like animes sometimes, like structurally, but, you know, sometimes in an anime, there's the episode where it's funny and nothing happens that's important to the plot because the characters are having a good time. It's like a comedy episode, right? Where Tsukasa helps his friend start a shop, you know? Yeah. And that's what this reminded me of. I really, really found this scene quite endearing, and by the end of it, I didn't think that those characters sucked ass anymore.
Because I definitely thought they sucked ass completely. It was like, I hope that they are not like true party characters for the rest of the game, and this is just like a stepping stone. But after this scene, and then the next scene with where we become Guildmaster, which after that is when I just completely fell in love with them, even though they have bad voices.
Unexpected surprise, that scene, for sure. What did you think, Bernard? Did you think it was an unexpected surprise, or did you think it was stupid and annoying?
I really liked Bo. He's a sweetheart. He's me when I was his age. Yeah,
I love it. What's their character's name?
Bo's the
younger brother,
the person who shares a character with his older twin sister Saku.
Yes.
Refers to her as both his older sister and his twin sister. I guess she's sense. Like 2 seconds older. I don't know.
Yeah,
and when you're twins, you lord those 2 seconds over your
this
twin,
person is playing online and making shit up and can't keep their story straight.
Yeah,
you really think someone would do that? Just go online and lie?
But yeah, let's listen to some more music from this game and then talk about our memorable moments and wrap up our first episode of LongCast. So, Maddie, what are your memorable moments?
I just had a couple. I had some from early in the game, but I didn't have a good screenshot taking technique, so I saved them somewhere, and then I just forgot.
Do you have them on? Are you playing on PS4 or on Steam?
Yeah, but there's that dumb delay on PS4.
True.
Anyway, the point is that I might remember what they were in a second, but I have a few that are from the later portions of the week where, first of all, when you're talking with what's his butt about At Home, he's trying to explain the simplest fucking concept of a guild hall, and he goes on and on explaining this again. I would say self-explain it. If you say the phrase guild hall, that's it. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally exactly that, right? But no, he's explaining it, and he goes, to put it simply, a guild is like a baseball team, and At Home is like the team's dugout where everybody hangs out while playing the game. And I'm like, you didn't need to say that. Also, you already kind of said this, but I want to put a pin on some of this game's fucking writing, because when you're having the big talk with the fucking architect or whatever, he goes, one of the effects, or perhaps I should say targets. Oh, so first he's like, there's been a development, some kind of development. And then he says, one of the effects, or perhaps I should say targets of that development, is that there are a variety of phenomenon manifesting in the world. And I'm like, so you're trying to actually explain the plot to me in a way that is helpful, and all you said is there's a development that is making phenomena manifest.
Things are happening.
Okay,
shit
man.
happens.
Okay, man, cool. And then he's like, you yourself have experienced one of these developments, the forced sissification of your character. That's a joke that I thought of while we were recording. Let's see. Then they have a bunch of talking, for example, I actually like a lot of the stuff Hasei was like, don't give me that crap. How could an admin not know a single reason for a bug's existence? And I'm like, buddy, you never been a programmer.
Yeah.
An admin, presumably they are I don't know. It's like when I'm doing customer support for this platform that my company makes, and they're like, well, why isn't this part of the site working? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
But also though, there's sometimes in this game they're like, yeah, it's like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Other times though, it's like, wait, why are they trying to fix the game by going around inside the game, right? They could just look at the game's code. And there's this whole thing is the company itself wants to talk to you, and to do that you have to go to the admin only section and talk in a throne. And I'm like, couldn't they just fucking do a Zoom call? Why do they have to meet inside the game? It makes no sense. But what I think that here's what my sort of read on it that I find really, that I have in my headcanon that I think is cute, is that the game's designers and programmers and the CyberConnect company, they're just really committed to the bit.
Yeah.
They are true believers. They are they're businessmen. Yeah, they want to make money, but they are just really dedicated to the verisimilitude of their world, that they're like, no, this is a place and we are going to live inside of it and do all of our bullshit. We do not have to do this. But I think that they probably to them, it's important that you do this. Also, this MMO, unlike every other MMO in the world, the degree to which it is full of mysteries that no one understands is hilarious. Which, and I think that that's pretty much. Oh, and one more thing. You're having a scene with Pi, right? It's I don't know what fucking scene it is. And this actually might be farther than where we are. Whatever, it doesn't matter what happens in the scene.
Doesn't matter.
The thing is, this game sometimes has some cinematography. Most of the time, it does sometimes. It's kind of cool. There was this part where it was just a talking scene. But it switches all of a sudden. Pi starts talking, and it does specifically that shot in anime where it's a super, super, super quick pan where someone pans into the screen really fast. right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like it's not a pan from another shot. It's a cut, but it cuts to just a quick pan and then someone's face quickly shoots in the screen from the right and then is like centered in the screen. And I was like, oh, that's like a very stock anime shot. And they like reproduced it in this 3D game, which I thought was really cute. That's basically it. That's basically it for me. This game just is very, very layered, which is one reason I'm so into it, despite feeling weird or not liking so many parts of it, because there's just so much to think about. There's a lot going on, and that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Bernard? Do you have any?
Yes, I love the music. It's by Chikayo Fukuda, who, as far as I can tell, they pretty much have just done music for CyberConnect 2 games, which are basically just .hack, Asura's Wrath, and a whole bunch of Naruto shit.
Oh, they made Asura's Wrath? Huh, neat.
Yeah. Apparently that game's good. It's one I've been wanting to play.
I haven't played it, but it looks cool as hell.
I really enjoy the music. It's very much just like dopey fantasy stuff, because the game takes place within a dopey fantasy game. But it's really nice, and I really enjoy it. And I was surprised by it. Another thing I really like is when Hiseo is first meeting Gaspard in Syllabus. Gaspard is like, here's our member addresses. A member address is like a short email address that you use to blah, 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 blah. And like while he's talking, overlaid above his dialogue is Hiseo just spacing out, thinking about something else.
Yeah,
good.
I really liked that part.
It's so good.
Also, there was I did look at the forums a little bit. I really did not dig into stuff very much, but I did look at the forums a little bit. There was a forum post about the minimap disappearing, and I enjoy that because that was a problem I actually had in the game. And also, it was a problem that I had in Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I was playing recently, and I had to ask Maddie, after X happened, did the compass go away for you? Because I can't find things anymore. And she helped me.
It's funny.
Press L2 if that happens to you in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It's so funny. And I'm not trying to dunk on you at all, Bernard, because I've made the same mistake in games. It's funny how long you can go playing a game without hitting all the buttons on the controller. Because, like, it's not like it's buried in a menu. Like, you just push one of the buttons on the controller. Make the minimap appear. But like I've played other games before where it's just like, wait a second, I just realized I've been playing this game for 3 hours and I never even thought to hit the circle button. And then I hit it and I'm like, you can jump in this game? Or just, something like that, right? It's funny that can happen in video games.
Yeah. I love it.
I want to say something I love about the cutscenes and something I hate about the cutscenes.
Go for it.
So the cutscenes are, for the most part, they're very much just like PS2 RPG cutscenes where it's, two characters standing and talking to each other and doing stock animations. But then, of course, it has like FMV scenes where characters are doing much more elaborate stuff and like having more facial expressions and stuff. What I think is really cool is that they seamlessly transition between the regular scenes and the FMV scenes. Like, it'll just be like Hiseo is saying something, then Adelie says something, and then when it cuts back to Hiseo, he has a dramatic line, so it's a like a close-up of the FMV, and he says the dramatic line with a actual facial expression.
Yes, that really shocked me too.
I just think it's really well executed.
Yeah.
What I hate about the cutscenes is that characters' mouths don't move, and it just feels really weird, and it didn't stop being weird over the, 4 hours I played this game. And I can't believe I'm, longing for Kingdom Hearts 1-ass mouth flaps.
Funny enough, I really like the mouth not moving, because to me, that's the part that is, actually what this pretend MMO looks like. Whereas
I would agree, except they move in the FMV cutscenes.
Because those are the ones that the MMO feels like.
Yeah, well, I just see those as, I mean, those are just, what do you call it? It's just obviously just exaggeration and elaboration, but it is. I can see that objectively it's weird, but personally, I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay. So, no, go on. You go.
So the thing about the FMVs that I don't like is it is incredibly obvious that these voice actors were handed an Excel spreadsheet with their lines and only their lines, not in order, because every single thing that they read has the exact same cadence, no matter if it's the same part of the sentence or not. And it is bonkers and bizarre to listen to.
well, I feel like you're not even selling the full extent of the problem, although your example was illustrative. Is you keep saying the lines were all out of context. But the thing is, the word line in the context of a script means an entire passage of talking, right? If a line can be multiple sentences, right? Like, it says Haseo, that's a line. That's not what we're talking about here. No. A line in this game is the amount of text that can be on the subtitle at once. So if a single sentence in this game's cutscene is divided among multiple pages, you could say, of subtitle, it is three separate. It says one, pauses and waits for the next one to show up. I've never seen that in the game before. It is absolutely bizarre.
Y'all were talking about that stuff and like referring to it vaguely in host chat and stuff, but I really only noticed that once.
There's one time where it's really egregious.
There are a lot of whole conversations where no character's lines are more than one line long because it's just back and forth. So there are a lot of times when it literally doesn't happen, but sometimes it fucking happens.
Yeah. There's specifically a part where it's one of the tutorials with Gaspard and Syllabus, where it's Syllabus is every line is starts with an ellipsis, ends with an ellipsis. There's like 6 of them where he gets 2 words out at a time, and it is not good. But then basically everything Yada says is the same way, where he delivers a whole thing over and over again instead of it being one long thing.
You know what's wild, though?
Just a weird motherfucker.
He very much is.
You know what's wild, though? Other than that absolutely disastrous, extremely bizarre instance of like the production of the voice acting, well, I don't know. I mean, I can't objectively say the performances are good or not, because how could they be with that weird direction? But like, I like the voices. I like how they sound.
Yeah.
Like,
I like the voices.
They're very characterful and enjoyable and charming and great. And that's different from being like good acting. But like, I like it. I like listening to the characters talk. It's enjoyable and fun, especially the 2 teddies.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Haseo is really good. Also, I love how much he sucks.
I'm pretty sure Haseo, who is Yuri Lowenthal, who is Yuri Lowenthal's always great.
Was he the lead from Rogue Galaxy?
Spider-Man. No. League from Rogue Galaxy is Will Friedle.
Gotcha.
Yuri Lowenthal is the lead from like 100 things.
This whole game has massive Rogue Galaxy vibes, by the way.
Yeah. This is definitely feels like a Rogue Galaxy.
Oh, Yuri Lowenthal was Johnny in the FF7 remake.
Yeah,
oh
he
my
was.
Fucking God. I don't like Johnny.
I don't like Johnny either.
But yeah, I really like how much Haseo sucks ass. This is one of the things I was going to say, and I forgot too early when you asked me, Sam. Like, I'm sure he'll have an arc later, but it's just like, no, this is an MMO player. He was a really high level character. His primary motivation is revenge against people who fucked him up. he's just an
He's
asshole.
toxic.
That's
He's a
pretty
toxic
much,
gamer.
That's pretty much just it. And whenever and he's rightly very upset that he has to be level 1 again, and he's just frustrated by everything and wishes everyone would shut up. Like it's so the fact that they don't try to humanize him and say no, but actually he's a sweetie, or no, but actually like he's conflicted or complex, makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
He is just Bernie bro to me.
Yes. Yeah, like they're not trying to humanize him, like he just sucks and that's it, and it's realistic, and I kind of love him.
Yeah. So one of my memorable moments is back when Haseo is level 130 and he's killing Kestrel for the first time, and homegirl from Kestrel says, "So you think you can go against me, the Great Bordeaux, and just walk away like nothing happened?" And he cuts off her fucking head. He goes, "Yeah, I think I can." It's so good.
That's cool. You know,
Love
and
it.
most of the time in stories like this, I would make a joke about like, oh, does this character like workshop his one-liners in his spare time? But since this character is literally playing an MMO, and that is like I can believe he does do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's RPing. He is actually working on his one-liners when he's offline.
Yeah. There, another one I had was there's a news blurb about how high tech the virtual reality goggles that everyone's using is, and they list the tech specs and the price, and it is super expensive and nobody can afford it, but it's worse than the Oculus Quest, and it's less expensive than the top of the line Oculus Rift 2. And they're like, wow, it's so expensive. And I'm like, just 10-15 years later, this is already like shitty. And it's
that's wild. That's wild.
It's so crazy to me.
Also, I do want to share one interesting lore thing just because I think this is really cool. And Bernard might not know it. Actually, you might not know it, Sam. I don't know if they address it in their media. There was an earlier version of the world. There is one part I might be wrong about. I don't remember. I think that this is before any of the .hack franchise, unless I'm forgetting .hack sign. You might already know what I'm saying.
I think you're about to talk about my next. I think you might be about to talk about my next memorable moment.
Is it about like the moved? Is it like the keyboard and mouse thing?
Oh no! Go for it.
There's a lore thing that at some point in the version of the world, again, I don't remember if this is during World 1.0, like events of .hack and .hack sign, or if it's lore even for those games. But in a certain earlier version of the world, you played the game via a headset, and then like an immersive headset, and also your controls. It was like mind controlled. So you were just completely immersed in the game. But when people did that, it was having very bad effects on them, like making them go into comas, making them die, messing up their nervous system, messing up their brain. So there ended up being I think it might be that like every MMO was like this. So then the government passed a law saying you can have VR and immersive games, but you have to control them with a mouse and keyboard. Or you have to control them with a game controller. In order, like, you can't do, your brain is controlling the game. You can't have that brain link. So that's a really interesting little bit of backstory, is that apparently it's illegal to have, but apparently the technology exists, but it is illegal to have not physical moving your hands around controls for these games.
That's really cool. So the thing I thought you were going to talk about, because you were mentioning the earlier part of the version of the world. So the original, and this is all in-game lore, the original creator of the world was trying to make a single-player game, but then everyone was into MMOs, so he pivoted into making it an MMO. But MMOs are traditionally super story light, so he brought a whole lot of his work with him and hit it on random keywords like Easter eggs and stuff like that. So it's like not even like the lore of the game. It's like a meta lore of the game that the game used to be, which this is all within the framing narrative of us playing a game inside of our video game, and it's games all the way down. And so there's just a whole bunch of like empty cool places which meant stuff to the developer but not necessarily to the thing.
And even in .hack Sign, that is how they explain a lot of their like mythic, like deep lore, is like, the original creator of the game, who is a mysterious person who no one's seen in years, put a bunch of weird stuff in the game that the developers don't even know about.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. Then let's see. One thing that's cool that I don't know if you guys saw, and I don't actually know if it happened yet because I don't remember when the not important like emails and shit come through, but you get emails back on the PS2. This was if you imported your save from the first game. But you get emails from characters from IMOC or Legend of the Twilight or .hack Sign.
I saw that I had emails from Black Rose. I didn't read them.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, you get like missent emails that come like the Black Rose one is definitely written to Kite during the events of IMOC, and it's really cool. Don't know what it means, if it means anything, or if it's just like, thank you for playing our games, here's some extra lore.
Yeah.
But I thought that was
so that stuff
cool.
So we're getting this in the game, but originally this was actually a bonus if you imported your previous saves.
Yeah, on the PS2
Neat.
It was a bonus for importing, but this being the definitive edition, everything's included.
That's pretty cool.
And unlocked for you. Which is cool. But I think that's all that I have.
I have one more memorable moment. I spoke to a PC and PC in Makanu because there are player characters running around, but they're really NPCs because this is an offline game.
Which is wild.
Her name is Moonlight Dance, and she says, "My pet is my biggest source of concern when I'm gaming." And same. She talks about how her pet is always fucking stuff up while she's gaming, and my cat Susie is always fucking stuff up, and she's my biggest source of concern when I'm gaming.
I'd love it.
I really like that.
There's one because I forgot that I took screenshots on my PS4 and I didn't refer to those when I was writing my notes. So you saying that reminded me of one I had for my PS4 where I ran into a player whose name was Frank in all caps, and you talk to him in all caps. He goes, "I love Japan, geishas, sushi, anime. I love it all. I just want to be like Japan."
Same.
God. This is unrelated, I'm sorry, but someone just sent me this and I have to share it with y'all. So the bad news is the story involves Elon Musk, but the good news is it's cool as hell. So Tom Cruise is currently working with Elon Musk, which again, I wish it was anyone else, but whatever. He's working with Elon Musk because he wants to use SpaceX to shoot a film in space. Unfortunately, this is not Mission Impossible 7, but Tom Cruise famously known for doing some of the most goddamn insane stunts. Like he actually learned to jump on to fly a helicopter for the last Mission Impossible film. Apparently he wants his next action movie to be in space. So that's incredible. Also, I'm worried he's gonna die.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna die.
That's so fucking cool. King shit. I love him.
I love the fact that there might be a movie where people are being very serious and having cool fights and stuff, but their hair is just standing up the whole time because there's no gravity. Their hair is just going everywhere.
They'll have to use so much fucking. They're gonna have JRPG level hairspray, like solid unmoving hair.
I love it. If you love us, you should go to www.rpgbook.club, which has links to all of our stuff where you can come and hang out with us on our Discord or on our Twitter or send us an email. It also has links to our Ko-Fi, which is at ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub, where you can support us and help us pay for the rest of the stuff that we do. And if we reach our next stretch goal, we'll finish the... So we already have 2 parts of .hack.gu paid for. So we need the third part, and then there is a 4th part. I don't know how much of it counts because it was added for the HD collection. So I don't know if that'll be tacked onto the end of part 3 or if that'll be its own next thing. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Francesco because he just beat it, so he'll know. But if you want us to finish this game, you can go and support us at co-fi.com/RPG Book Club. But for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Maddie Grace Webben.
And I have been Bernard Hauk. And if you want more of me and Maddie, and this week only, Sam, you should listen to my and Maddie's podcast, Have You Played Resident Evil?
Yeah, plug
Hell
that
yeah.
shit. Thank
It's
you for
not
remembering
about
to plug
Resident Evil.
things. Yeah, it's about whether or not I played Resident Evil. Which, if you want to know what the answer to that is, you have to listen.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, friends.